Hello VC, Dark Dove back with you again. This is going to be a bit of an update with a difference because this update is going to consist entirely of CDs. I've made a huge charity shop CD haul. Charity shops, they're basically what we call goodwill shops or thrift shops over here. So the vast majority of what I'm going to show is from one big donation which one particular shop got in, but two of the most interesting items are actually from a separate place. I'm going to show you all of those in a minute. Just very briefly before I go on, last weekend I went to a film event, a film screening in my local kind of independent cinemas. Two of the films are kind of linked to the a couple of the CDs that I'm going to show. So it was this event, 80s night, showing Rumblefish, Blue Velvet and Stop Making Sense, the Talking Heads concert movie. It was hosted by this guy Aidan Gillen, an Irish actor who, though he'd be known to international audiences from the TV series The Wire, where he played Major Carcetti, and also Game of Thrones, which he's currently in, playing Littlefinger. So it was kind of a personal choice of his. These were all kind of favourite films of his that he saw in his youth, and he gave an introduction to each film. I had my picture taken with him after the first movie. Sorry, just 2 seconds. There we go. I completely managed to mess the picture up by closing my eyes just as the flash went off, so I look kind of slightly silly in that picture. He's looking off to his left. There was some pretty attractive women there. I think his eye might have been caught by them. But anyway, it was nice to meet him and get my picture taken. But anyway, enough of that. Moving straight away, I'll start off first with the two most interesting items. Now these two items, they're slightly more expensive than most of the items that I'm going to show. So start up straight away. Tom Waits, Orphans. So this is Brawlers, Ballers and Bastards. Now Ben Costello, you actually picked this up last week at a record fair in Dublin and paid quite a bit of money for this. I paid all of €4 for this, and it looks in absolutely almost brand new condition, limited edition, and 94-page booklet and 3 CDs. So show you that there, the CDs, and it looks barely played, so it was absolutely fantastic to pick that up for €4. The other item which I picked up with it, which cost me €3, is another fantastic item. So this is called White Lunar, and this is Nick Cave and Warren Ellis, his partner in crime from the Bad Seeds. This is a compilation CD of various movie soundtracks that they've done in recent years. So it includes music from The Assassination of Jesse James, The Proposition, The Road, and the kind of more well-known kind of kind of feature film soundtracks are on one CD. Then the second CD consists of oh, actually, this is the first CD actually. Now the second CD, which I just showed, consists of documentary soundtracks, so slightly lesser known, less familiar music pieces perhaps, but this is on Mute, released in 2009, and very lucky to make these two finds. They had a lot of other stuff in there as well, which I was looking to grab, but I just grabbed these two because a lot of the other stuff was kind of more kind of common, easy to find kind of stuff, which I'm kind of more easy about picking up. But I specifically these two, so to find these two items in a charity shop was great, especially as both of them appear to be in extremely good condition. Okay, so the rest of the items that I'm going to show are from a different charity shop. They cost me less than €1 each, because I bought quite a lot of them, so I did a kind of okay, so I'll start off first with something that was on my want list. So this is a Heroes Symphony, and this is Philip Glass's symphonic his symphonic kind of version of Bowie and Eno's Heroes. There's the LP that, as you know, came out in 1977 as part of the Berlin trilogy. So this is a 1997 CD. I think it came out on vinyl actually fairly recently. Myself and yourself saw it. Remember, we were commenting on it recently at a fair. So very nice fold out sleeve as well. So I was very pleased to pick that up. Now, this person who donated these CDs had a very interesting taste in music. Obviously a big Eno fan, because the next item is another huge want list struck off my list. So this is Apollo, Brian Eno, Daniel Lanois, Lanois, and Roger Eno, brother of Brian. So this is a seminal ambient masterpiece from 1983. This is a 2005 CD reissue with this plastic slipcase. So includes that an ending. That's the most well-known piece on it. So I've been looking for this for a long time. Would have liked to have picked it up on vinyl, but I'm just more than happy to have the CD version. So I'm very pleased with that. And another Eno related item. This is Bang on a Can, and their version of Brian Eno's Music for Airports. So Bang on a Can, that ensemble whose lineup has changed since this came out. This came out in 1998. So very interesting take on music for airports. So interesting to compare it. I picked up the original on vinyl relatively recently, so very interesting to compare the two. And picked up. This is something which I actually showed in my last video on vinyl, but I thought it's no harm to have it on CD as well. So, Eno and Byrne, My Life in the Bush of Ghosts. And this version, of course, does not include Quran, unfortunately, as it has been omitted from subsequent represses. But as I showed in my last video, I have picked up the original on vinyl, so I do have Quran on that. But it's nice to pick it up on CD as well, the album. Quite a bit of stuff by Philip Glass. Again, this is something which I picked up recently on vinyl. Philip Glass Glassworks. You know, quite possibly one of his better works. Ben Costello, this is for you, as you don't have this, so that'll be going up to Limerick. Again, another album by Philip Glass. 1,000 Aeroplanes on the Roof. This is from '88. Not so keen on this one. It's the soundtrack to a stage show based on a kind of a science fiction based stage show that he did the music for. Yeah, I wasn't crazy about this one personally. And on a similar theme, the very best of Michael Nyman. This is his film work from 1980 to 2001. So it includes, the Draftsman's Contract, etc. So obviously this person who made this donation, there's quite a lot of modern classical and kind of modern kind of minimalism. So there's a kind of a big theme. Running through this collection, so I'm very pleased to get this as well, as I really do like Michael Nyman's film scores. Now, kind of with a slight connection to the movie screening, which I was mentioning, particularly Blue Velvet, Julie Cruz, Floating into the Night. Julie Cruz, who has quite often collaborated with David Lynch on his movie soundtrack, so this does include Mysteries of Love, which was included on the soundtrack of Blue Velvet. So so this includes compositions by Angelo Badalamenti, who has scored quite a few of David Lynch's movies. And staying with David Lynch and Angelo Badalamenti, the soundtrack to Wild at Heart. Okay. And also Mulholland Drive, which I haven't seen. This is the last Lynch movie I saw. I think I haven't seen the one that came after this, Inland Empire. I must try and I've been meaning to see that for a long time. But anyway, so staying with movie soundtracks, Ennio Morricone, The Mission. Don't need to add too much about that. I'm sure you're all familiar with this, but this is a great soundtrack from Morricone. Satie, the French composer who was quite influential on Eno in his, when he came up with the concept of ambient music. He was quite highly influenced by Satie and his concept of furniture. I think it was furniture music, I think he called it. Early 20th century. Satie, I think he died in 1925. But yeah, so highly influential. It's kind of not surprising that it would be part of the same collection. John Adams, Shaker Loops, and this also includes pieces by Philip Glass again, and also Steve Reich. Piece here called 8 Lines. Steve Reich, very hard to come across anything by Steve Reich. I find even on CD. Staying with Steve Reich, remixes of Steve Reich's music. And he's remixed by the likes of Megamix, well, mostly acts that I'm not familiar with, but Desert Music gets the remix treatment, as does Drumming. So I haven't listened to this yet, but I'm really interested to give this a listen and hear the results. The Tane. This is another one that I have on vinyl, but The Tane by Horselips. This is an original Irish CD release, so which came out in the late 80s. So this was the very first time that this had been released on CD. So it's quite nice to have that as well. Even though I already have it on vinyl. The Fab Four. Yeah, I don't have a lot of Fab Four in my collection, but there's Abbey Road and the White Album, which I used to have on cassette years ago, but I think some housemate of mine went off with it. It disappeared. So this is very nice little CD package of this classic album. So there you go. Adam Nichols, you'll appreciate this. You're a big fan. The Orb. This is their 1995 album, Orbis Terreavum. And I have another Orb item to show on vinyl, which I'll save for my next vinyl update. David Lynch. Oh, sorry. David Lynch. David Byrne. David Byrne of Talking Heads. His solo album from 1997, Feelings. It's got this kind of weird Action Man figure, which the liner notes explain were actually created specially for this album cover. So cool. So Thelonious Monk and John Coltrane at Carnegie Hall. This is an extremely nice find because I do not have anything at all by John Coltrane on any kind of format. I do have something by Thelonious. I do have a couple of things by Thelonious Monk on vinyl, but nothing by Coltrane prior to this. So I'm very, very pleased to pick this up. This is a kind of, I haven't listened to this yet, but this is a kind of a modern take on Mozart, Gideon Kramer and Kramer, Gideon Kramer and Kramer at Baltica. It's modern classical pieces inspired by Mozart, so I haven't listened to that yet. Another one which I already have on vinyl, which I picked up recently, Big Science by Laurie Anderson. Again, no harm to have it on CD as well. For not wanting to play the vinyl too much, not wanting to wear it out or anything. And another one which I already have on vinyl, The Dreaming, Kate Bush. And Ben, you are getting this as well. This is you don't have this, so you will like this. This is our best album, believe me. The Tom Tom Club, side project of Tina Weymouth and Chris Frantz of Talking Heads. Genius of Love was they actually do a performance of that in the Stop Making Sense movie. So that's another kind of a link to that movie screening. Again, another item I have on vinyl. The Cave in the Bad Seeds, the Boatman song. So I have it on both formats now as well. Now this is a really unusual one. This is Z-E-V, Opus 3. Zev, I actually can't think of his real name at the moment, but this guy, he was a kind of industrial noise art project. This is a highly unusual, very hard to come across his stuff. So it's called, it's Opus 3. This is a really kind of weird, out there kind of noise, kind of very hard to describe, kind of industrial, kind of pretty experimental. So very, very pleased to find this, because it's something that just would not come across every day in a charity shop. It's from 1990, by the way, and I think a lot of these CDs are German or Dutch. So could have been somebody from an expat from one of those countries who donated them. Another very nice find, the Cocteau Twins, Milk and Kisses. This is from 1995, and this is a kind of a special edition with this. This is actually a magnet which opens, so the sleeve opens out like this, into a kind of a cross shape. So next item, kind of a link to Cocteau Twins, This Mortal Coil, Filigree and Shadow, from 1986, their second album. This is an original 1986 CD on 4AD. Okay, the very last item, which is not a CD, but it was actually donated by the same person. I asked the woman in the shop if this person had donated any vinyl. She said they hadn't, but they had donated some DVDs. So I had a look through them. Most of them are kind of bog standard stuff, but one of them just jumped out at me, and that is Pier Paolo Pasolini's Salo, 120 Days of Saddam. Highly controversial 1975 movie by Pasolini. It was his very last movie, because shortly before it was released, he was murdered, very brutally murdered. So I I've been meaning. I've never seen this movie. I've been meaning to try and see it for years, but this is something now that it would be very, very hard to come across. And so it was great to find it in a charity shop. Real unexpected find, I have to say. So just very, very quickly, in a completely different charity shop, I found this big collection of record collector magazines dating from the 1990s. So there's 6 of them in total, and I got them for €2. So it's going to be quite a bit of reading in those. So just very briefly mention, I know Ben Costello, I have a grail to show in my next video. It is a vinyl item, so I left it out of this video, but I will show it in my next one. So until then, have a great weekend everybody, and keep watching.